Africa makes a semi-final always buys it.
He was the first nigga.
No!
Said man, away from the games, there's a
I'm
game.
a real hater like that.
You guys are gonna ride Messi there, but like guys, the man can only do so much.
Yo, my brothers, my sisters, and my ballers, welcome back to another match day of What's Football Without Fans with your favorite social football analyst, Tsepiso Piti, aka Tebzoro. To the ballers passing by, I hope you like what you see because I surely like what I do. And make sure to join the returning ballers who continue to show me gang love and appreciation by liking, commenting, as well as to subscribe. Hot Takes is back on What's Football Without Fans match day today. I'm rolling with Tubbs and Leroy once again for this one, where each of us have one hot take in football history, current, present, potentially future, if you want to bring it off that way. And we dissect it. We will dissect it. So, my ballers, I hope y'all have your hot takes ready because I feel mine is certainly a topic which will definitely have divided opinions and one we'll definitely dive into. So, without wasting any more time, I'll kick off with the hot take in saying that in 2009, during the Champions League final run, provided Chelsea had beaten Barcelona in the semi-finals, Man United would have won the final and go on to defend their Champions League title.
Is that your hot take?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
You agree with it?
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you agree with it? Because I have pointers, like from my head, I have pointers on both sides, but obviously for me to say that, I lean more towards it being true.
So you're saying that if Chelsea beat Barca,
if Chelsea had beaten Barca in
now
2009,
another
as they
United-
should have,
it's a rematch.
it's the rematch of the 2028 Moscow final.
Yeah.
And Man United would have won again. Look,
Yeah.
obviously, Chelsea fans still cry about the referee on that night.
Rightly so.
Rightly so, with Didier Drogba labeling it a disgrace. And, you know, part of me still hasn't healed. You know, I've gone on afterwards to win a Champions League 2. And the first one was won with, you know, my spine, which did so much for me across so many years with Mourinho over to Avram Grant. Speaking about Cech, Terry, Lampard, Didier Drogba, you know. But they had those people that come along the journey with through those years who unfortunately in 2012 were no more with us. But, you know, the players like an Essien. Okay, I think Essien was part of the 2012 squad, but not playing as actively, you know. Carvalho was no more there. A Ballack was no more there. A Joe Cole was no more there. You know, people who put Chelsea on their back in supporting the mainstays and the star players in the spine, as I named it, you know. But, dude, I just felt like 2009, Man United was just a whole nother different machine. Specifically that year in isolation. Man United 2009, look, Chelsea changed managers as we came used to, with us having Goose Hiddink, who did well in giving us the FA Cup that year. Great cup run, balanced well in the league, but finished third with Man United and Liverpool ahead of us. But that was the one year I like truly felt like, look, Man United are actually better than us. We are still competition for them, but they're actually better than us. You know?
That was the third league in a row. The last of that three-peat. Obviously reaching another Champions League final. And I think the only team that beat us in the final is the team that beat us in the final, which is Barcelona. What I would have done to see us win another Champions League, you don't know. You don't know until it's how many years later and you haven't even smelt it. How much one more, much one more would have done. But yeah, that's not a hot take. I think we would have won the rematch of that final, and especially with it being like the Ronaldo. That thing of like, okay, he's gonna now last dance it, make it about himself, like make sure he delivers. Yeah. I mean, that was
because we all knew this was gonna be Ronaldo's last season.
100%. Yeah. He was on his way out, and almost just, I think that would have just the
cherry on top.
Imagine what that does for a few players' legacies. I think there was more legacy at stake with United winning another one than Chelsea winning it, and that would have been Chelsea's first. Yeah, that would have been Chelsea's first. They would have played for their
first. That's a hot take on its own.
What?
Yeah. They would have been greater with the legacy of United
I think
winning it at that time versus Chelsea.
It would have been crazy for
an English team, that Man United, to do a back-to-back over Chelsea or whoever.
But specifically against Chelsea, why I'm saying specifically against Chelsea, because we would have finally gotten the cup we've been looking for through the investments we've made over the past years, you know. Ballack would have finally gotten a final win, but we can also maybe say the same about Berbatov,
Yeah.
you know, who unfortunately is, you know, there's that label that says players who have lost finals, it's Ballack and Berbatov, you know. But yeah, from the legacy standpoint, I hear it. Well, definitely from a managerial side, you know, I can't think of managers who have won Champions Leagues back to back. You know,
And-
yes, there's Zidane, but it just doesn't
Yeah.
go off the top of your head.
And I think if you go back to the context of the time, with Liverpool winning in 2005 and then losing their final,
2007.
what
yeah.
it would have meant from a Man United perspective to win back-to-back Champions League and close that gap, make it 4-5. Now the
Yeah.
gap is 3-6.
Uh,
Oh no, sorry, it would have been 4-6.
Not that time would have been 4-5.
Oh, it would have been 4-5 at the time,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were.
But now it's now 3-6. You
Sure.
know, like you think of what it would have done for
With the 20
Sir Alex.
looming.
You think of what it would have done for Sir Alex's legacy, those players, Ronaldo. Imagine Ronaldo, two Champions Leagues before Madrid. You're talking changing the history of football here. But yeah, shout out Pep, I guess,
Eish.
for denying that dream.
Yeah,
And
man.
if any manager and any team deserves that
Yeah,
above United,
yeah.
cool. Like let it be that Pep, Messi, that Barca team. Yeah.
Because even in the 2 years previous, you know, it was Man United, Chelsea, Champions League final day of the season. Both teams on 79 points, I think. Man United beat Wigan, 82. Chelsea draw against Bolton, 80 points. Ending the season. Season before, we both got knocked out in the semi-finals. Chelsea to Liverpool on penalties. Man United to an amazing Kaká, representing Milan. So, but just that season in particular, like what was it that clicked with Man United? Well, they were clicking seasons before, but that season in particular, what was it that clicked with Man United?
I think at that point, obviously we were a team. We won the league 3 times in a row, but like Ronaldo obviously established as like the best player in the world at that time.
Yes.
So now you have the best player in the world at that time. You have someone who is going to be generational, and you know it in Wayne Rooney. And then you have a lot of other great all-time players. Like you have Scholes in the midfield. You have Vidic. You have Ferdinand. You have Evra. You have a solid, probably, you know, everyone has the argument for like goalkeepers. But like, obviously, I like Van der Sar in my United all-time. But like, I think Van der Sar, an all-time keeper for us, my personal best. And then I feel like it's a squad of a whole lot of good players that play the way we should play, that didn't matter where everybody is playing. You can have Tevez go left, you can have Ronaldo through the center, you can have Rooney play right, and they'll keep switching. And like, there's an interview that he said, you know, it doesn't matter where we play, whatever, we're just playing because the manager says this is what we have to do, and that's what we do. It's like, yeah.
It was the same season you guys were in, I think, like 14 games in the league without conceding a goal. Like Van der Sar had some crazy clean sheet stats. The players off the bench were quality and just did well for the team. If Berbatov wasn't playing, there's Tevez. Giggs not playing, there's Nani. Jason Park would run. Like, I think it was that season where, or maybe it might have been the season after, where David Beckham made the homecoming in the Champions League against Man United. And Man United, I think, won 4-0.
Yeah.
It might have been the season after. There's a Darren Fletcher there.
Carrick.
Gary Neville is getting, or Carrick as a starter was simply amazing. Gary Neville's getting old. Wes Brown is putting in the shift.
Nani. No, it's not talking about
Evra is
Nani.
becoming one of the best left backs in the world, alongside Ashley Cole, who is the Chelsea man, with Maldini now sharing his last years, as well as Carlos. Yeah, Man United, that, like, I even remember that season, like their losses against Man U, between Chelsea and Man U, but none where like one team was dominant. Well, yes, maybe Chelsea, but that was the first time I got one where United dominated us when winning 3-0 at Old Trafford that season. Like, even with hearing from past players, Neville, Rooney, like they felt like that was the one time during the Man United and Chelsea rivalry of the late noughties where we beat Chelsea. Like, this game we actually beat them. And yeah, man United was just a juggernaut that season, bro. It was hectic. So from your end as well, Leroy, it's not a hot take.
No, not at all. I just
You
felt like
support it.
we were built to win that. Obviously, things went south for us in the final very early. And then, from there, like a quality side like that Barcelona side, if we concede early, we were never going to do anything.
Evra also once said, like, out of his Champions League final losses, that's his most painful one on Ferdinand's podcast. And he's like, Man United went into that game so confident, like, yes, we're going to win in a row. But Pep's troops just came and showed off. That's where we have it with my hot take. Leroy, what's yours?
I'm going to start. This one's going to make a lot of people angry.
Make us angry, Mapola.
Whatever your Premier League top 11 is, I think it is completely unfair to have Steven Gerrard in there.
What?
Wherever in the midfield.
Like a Premier League all-time 11.
Your Premier League all-time.
So basically,
I don't think Gerrard makes it.
Your Premier League all-time
That's a
11
hot
cannot have
take.
Gerrard.
No Gerrard.
That's a hot take.
No Gerrard.
Okay, supported reason being, don't say the obvious of him not having a league title.
He doesn't. And then I just feel like that's one thing. And I feel like the level and quality of like, there's gang players that you can put in there. There's guys that we never talk about. We never talk about Kante should be in there.
I'd take Gerrard over him, respectfully.
No. 2 back-to-back league wins, one with Leicester, one with Chelsea. There's nothing Gerrard really has over Kante.
Okay.
Like career-wise. I'm being completely honest.
Oh, yeah.
What does he have over
Oh,
Kante?
yeah.
Like Kante, and it's like even Yaya Toure, I'd take Toure over Gerrard in a heartbeat. Lampard over Gerrard, Scholes over Gerrard.
Okay, Scholes definitely
KDB over Gerrard.
Scholes definitely over Gerrard. Yeah.
KDB over Gerrard. I've just listed about 5 names. So, I mean,
Okay.
I think
I want to hear this, ne?
I
don't
think
know
Gerrard
if
has a lot of Liverpool propaganda behind. Like, Gerrard's great, don't get me wrong.
And I rate
at a
him,
stage,
I
like,
rate
if we're going to
him.
be like the all-time 11, you have to win also. Like, obviously, and you have to be like, okay, he's great. He's an all-timer. Don't get me wrong. But like, is how good he is it a major difference between the guys I just listed? Does this difference like overcome the fact that he has no trophies? And even if I don't think he's really, maybe you can go Gerrard over Lampard. But like, is the difference in them so great that Gerrard's greatness overcomes Lampard's trophies? That's what I'm asking you.
It's a sound argument. It's a hot take.
Oh, yeah?
It's a sound argument. The only thing I would say if I had to put my Liverpool hat on, and if it was a Liverpool hat, I'd throw it away.
Sure.
But if I had to put it on, is to say that we are watching football now in a different guise to how we watched it 20 years ago. And a lot of the time, it was more about like switching the TV on and watching a guy do something. And like no one was doing what he was doing for that period, which is just leading a club.
That's the thing.
With his, like letting his football do the talking. He controlled games, won games, decided games. Like he was Liverpool.
He dictated.
He played with everyone. He moved around. Like the team molded around him. But like for a club of that size, we don't see that anymore. One guy putting the city and the team on his back. His team. And that's, I think, the propaganda that you speak about. If he did that at Newcastle, and Newcastle never won anything, the same player, the same type of player, yes, cool, it's a different conversation. So cool, there is that Liverpool propaganda. But I just think, it's tough. It's tough.
Because the thing is with me, like, with the argument that you brought out, ne, it makes me ask myself, maybe if we had to say Premier League starting 11 of the last 10 years, as an example, and I'll even isolate it to, if we had to say 4-3-3 with only one position for the striker, the argument that you bring basically makes you say that we cannot have Kane over Aguero in the last 10 years.
Yes.
We cannot have Kane over Aguero because of his lack of achievements.
But it's a Premier League all time. So winning counts, guys, also. Like as good, like what I'm saying is Gerrard is amazing, phenomenal player. on his day, he'll play you off the park, he'll run up and down, do everything right. But is he that good where he's so good that it doesn't matter that he doesn't win?
In my ball, it's hard because when I look at players of the past,
and then you look at the players that win adjacent to him, like so you telling me Frank Lampard, if we have one spot in the Premier League all 11, you taking Gerrard over Frank Lampard?
Okay,
knowing what Frank Lampard has done.
When you specifically isolated to Premier League, to answer your question, because of that, I'd have to take Lampard. But if you just ask me football as a whole, Gerrard or Lampard, even as a Chelsea supporter, my pick is Gerrard. Basically what I come to is, if Gerrard was in the Chelsea team, he wins everything Lampard won. If Gerrard was in the Man United team, he wins everything Scholes won. If Gerrard was in the City team, he wins everything Yaya won, Silva won, Kevin De Bruyne has won. If we send those players over to that Liverpool team being supported by Sami Hyypiä's and Yusuf Benayoun's with Daniel Agger,
they're also not going to win.
Sharp, but will they give an influence to the level in which Gerrard gave it to?
I think Lampard could.
Guys, I'm quiet because I'm torn, eh? I'm quiet because I'm torn.
I honestly think Lampard could.
Really?
I just think even guys like Yaya Toure, I think he could have the City though. But I just think it's more difficult for now I don't want to get into, but for a black player to have the recognition and City in the Premier League. Because like I said, guys like Yaya Toure and Kante, we often forget about them when we have this conversation at all.
Vieira at times also gets overlooked.
Yeah, Vieira overlooked also.
Do you have Keane over Gerrard?
I feel like Gerrard's much better, significantly better. I think.
Let's put it to you this way.
That's a double hot take then. Yeah.
What's your I don't know what system you have as your Premier League.
I don't have a system, but I'm just saying.
As a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, what is your midfield in your all-time Premier League 11?
So I haven't even really thought of it. I'm gonna have Kante in there.
Okay.
As my holding.
Oh, eh?
Never seen anything like that guy.
Duracell batteries.
He's just too much.
Energy.
Yeah.
Then okay. Scholes. I have to have Scholes. I'm a Man United guy. And then obviously, I'm gonna do from my time watching the Prem. So anyone can say whatever they want, but in my time watching the Prem, never seen anything like KDB. Just dominant for so long.
Okay, Scholes, KDB, Kante.
Yeah.
Does Gerrard get in over any of those? It's an argument. I'd feel like just leaving positional and roles over Kante. He can get in over Kante. Okay, with me, I've always said I also don't have one off of the top of my head, but the first midfield I pick is Scholes. Mr. Ginger himself, one of my all-time favorite midfielders, Gerrard over Scholes. So obviously with me saying that, I'm cutting Gerrard against Scholes. Gerrard against KDB, yeah, it's a toss-up, man. Respect to that Belgian ginger as well. Yeah, he also did his works. But nah, Leroy, from my end, my baller, yeah, that is a hot take, man. That one is a hot take.
Respect. That is a hard take. That is a hard take.
Like man said, he has no place in the team. Then I wanted to see, okay, if I bring the Kane aspect, does his arguments align? And it did. And I'm like, yo. Well, okay, Matt was torn on the side here, just to off-ramp a bit. It felt like you weren't sharing the Aguero to Kane chat.
No. When he said he has no place in the XI because he hasn't won. I think I hate winning is important. There is a cap to how important it can be. Because when you make winning absolute, you negate context. And when you negate context and you look at the environment that the player was performing in, the teammates they played with. The
environment.
If you negate that and just bring it down to, well, he won and he didn't win, you are now being unfair.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing. I'm not gonna throw Vardy in there over.
People
Kane.
do.
I think what they're saying is Vardy has a better legacy, which
is an issue.
Which is
legacy. Legacy is how you're perceived.
Yes.
But ball at feet is not legacy.
yes, like
I agree
ball
with
in the
that,
back
but
of
why
the
I
net
say
is not legacy.
it is an issue, and hence why it's an issue as we're debating over it. Respect to Vardy with what he did, but in isolation, now we say he's had a greater Premier League legacy versus Gerrard because of the title. Like that's basically what you're coming to if you're able to state Vardy ahead of Gerrard, because
Kane.
simply the only difference, Kane over Aguero, well, Aguero over Kane.
I think if you're talking strikers, so again, when you look at a player and then what they're supposed to do, everyone who plays wants their team to win. But when your team is not winning, what are you doing? So Kane got to 200 plus Premier League goals in a Spurs. He was part of the Spurs team that was phenomenal and that regressed. But Spurs not winning, yes, it's due to Kane in some respects, but that now can't diminish everything he's done. He cannot now be removed from every all-time conversation. People put him out of striker conversations. Everyone is now a better striker than him because he didn't win. And it's like, no, dude, like I
don't have that. I just said if you put Aguero and Kane, I feel
in
like
the last 10 years,
I feel
it's
like
Aguero
it's
over Kane.
Aguero.
But
Aguero has his Premier League moments like, oh man, Aguero won them. The
Aguero!
Premier League. That is iconic. He lives forever.
Yeah.
that's legacy.
And
Yes.
But what I'm saying is now we can't take out. And then I'm saying, is the difference between Aguero and Kane that massive that you feel like, damn, there's no ways Aguero gets in here?
No, it's not.
Like,
no, it's not. I just don't have it. I have an issue. I'm not saying you doing it. I have an issue with people. If your argument starts with winning,
That's my
that's
issue
my
as
issue.
well. Hence why I
Your
brought it
Gerrard
up.
argument started with
Winning.
No, it didn't start with winning. He said, is the quality difference in the player big enough to overcome the fact that he didn't win?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's what I'm saying.
But people, viewers, Twitter people,
Subscribers.
people in the street,
All over them.
people have this thing of, oh, he didn't win, get him out. Oh, he didn't win the Premier League, get him out.
Which is useless.
And I'm saying if that's your way of doing it, then I have an issue.
Yeah, like I'll never have Sterling over like Salah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, you won't, really.
No, bro, you're not gonna.
Let's
have
think
Sterling.
about it, guys. Whoa, guys, are we happy? Are we happy to move on?
100%.
100%, bro.
Okay.
You want to spit?
No. I'm just saying, are we happy? If we're happy, let's move on.
Oh, wait, I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Son and Sterling.
Let's leave Sterling now.
Mhm.
But I'd say Sterling over Son, even though I
Yeah,
don't
like
rate him.
like
but
if I had to put it in a Premier League all time, I'd put Sterling over Son. But like I think Son is evidently better.
Is Mahrez all
not
time?
evidently, but ish. Mahrez ahead of Sterling for me in an all-time Premier League 11 pecking order for right wing.
100%.
Yeah.
Because Sterling is not doing what Mahrez did at Leicester, at any team, in any era. Ever. Never. No chance.
Nothing for Reyes.
Not happening.
Seeing that you're on it, take the floor, Tubbs.
So I've had a long, hard think about this. And it stemmed from an argument that we had in our group a couple of weeks ago about the Ballon d'Or. My hot take is I would like to see the Ballon d'Or scrapped. We don't need the Ballon d'Or anymore.
Then what happens to the FIFA best?
So let me start with the Ballon d'Or. We can move to FIFA awards. So the reason I think what happened is we grew up in an era where we saw the meaning and we saw two players dominate a single award for stratospheric performances year on year. And the gap between them became so marginal that the difference between what decided the Ballon d'Or for them has now carried on to an era afterwards where we're weighting things the wrong way. So we're now taking how we used to separate Team Messi versus Team Ronaldo and how we used to decide a Ballon d'Or between them, and we've now brought it to the Vinny, Mbappe, Haaland, Rodri, Jorginho era, which makes no sense. No one can tell me what the Ballon d'Or is awarded for anymore because it's not awarded to the best player in the world. It's not awarded always to the player who has the best individual season, regardless of what their team achieves. It's not awarded to the player who maybe helped their team win, but had a worse individual season than an individual performer who didn't win. There's so much inconsistency in terms of the last couple of Ballon d'Or winners. If I tell you let me put you guys both on the spot. Why did Modric win a Ballon d'Or?
Why did Modric win the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah.
Champions League and World Cup performance.
Okay, cool. So World Cup performances. He didn't win the World Cup.
He
He's
didn't win the
performing
World
well in the
Cup.
World Cup was good enough for him. Why did Messi win the Ballon d'Or in 2020?
2019.
No. After the World Cup, why did
Lewandowski won? Oh, after the World Cup.
World Cup?
Well,
He won the World Cup.
World Cup.
Okay, so he won it because he won the World Cup, but then whoever beat Modric in the final didn't win it, and they won the World Cup. Whoever, it could have been Griezmann, it could have been.
Yeah,
so I'm saying,
I get you, because even in that season, it's like when you look at Messi's season, two guys in the fight, perfect example, because Messi and Mbappe
Played on the same team.
Played on the same team. Mbappe clearly had the better
season in France.
So now he had the better season in France all around, like Champions League. So now we go to the World Cup finals, and I don't think that Messi, however you want to put it, I don't think Messi's World Cup performance was light years above Mbappe's. In terms of performance, I don't think he was light years ahead of Mbappe.
Yeah.
Where it makes such a significant difference. Because if you look at how the Ballon d'Or rankings went, it went Messi 1,
And then Haaland.
Haaland number 2, then Mbappe number 3. So why not Mbappe number 2 then, if there's some form of consistency?
And then, thank you so much for that, Leroy. Then my second issue is, let's go back to when Italy won the Euros, Chelsea won the Champions League. So again, had we used the weighting system of years before, that should have been Jorginho's award, right? But then all of a sudden, our ability to think critically and be like, no, guys, just because Jorginho was on the winning team in Italy and on the winning, we can't just give him the Ballon d'Or for that, right? It's about your performance level. So it's 1 year, it's about how much you help your team win. Another year, it's about what did you win.
Okay. No,
Another year, it's weighted. It's completely skewed away from league and seasonal performance to your world. It's an inconsistent
Individual
award.
tournaments.
And then
1 month.
and then
basically.
so all of these guys, if we had to line them up with their Ballon d'Ors, and you hold the mic to them, here's a mic. Why did you win the Ballon d'Or? They'll all tell you different things. And I think what it's doing now is we're having this season. I'm taking this season for example. Who's your Ballon d'Or front runner right now?
Rafinha.
Who's your Ballon d'Or front runner right now?
I have no idea, because I also don't know how they're going to do it.
Mine, I don't really care about the Ballon d'Or. So now, in a room of football fans, we don't even value the award the same anymore.
Okay.
Because it's diminished its own value through the inconsistency.
It's
here.
diminished heavily.
It's diminished its own value through the way it's been conducted. And I think even the farce with Lewandowski and taking it away from him, that diminished the credibility of this award so much in my eyes. After that, because now you're looking at if you're able to never watch a player in your lifetime because they were played 20 years before you were born. Legacy is, you won the Ballon d'Or in 1986. Or he was the best player in the world in 1997. That has been taken away from a player.
Yes.
And then they managed to give him that pizza trophy the year after as a tribute. You've taken away something that he deserved to win. Everyone knows he should have won it that year.
Yes.
And then if the criteria is consistently changing, fans are indifferent about it. Players and clubs don't even know what the award is for anymore. What is the purpose of it anymore? Now we're just giving out the Ballon d'Or because it's always something we've done. So I'm saying my hot take is France. And again, the reason I say scrap the Ballon d'Or is you can either have the Ballon d'Or or everyone just starts giving their own awards. Because
Globe Soccer and all
there we go. Because what is the Ballon d'Or? It's awarded by France Football, which is a publication. It's not a football entity. It's not a governing body. Sorry.
It's not a football.
So it's not
body.
it's not the same as winning. For me, it's kind of difficult to. We've been conditioned to have the Ballon d'Or above the UEFA Player of the Year. If you're the best UEFA Player of the Year is a massive achievement. Being the best player in your league. Premier League, La Liga Player of the Season. That's a massive achievement, but we've all put the Ballon d'Or above it because we were raised like that. And I'm thinking, it's time to challenge the thinking and say, do we still need to put the Ballon d'Or up here? If in this day and age, we don't even, 3 people in a room can't even tell you what's awarded for, why this person won it, why it's skewed in certain years. And you'll hear people say, oh, there's a World Cup here. So what? 7 games is now more important than 50 league games.
Yeah.
Oh, he won the Champions League. He only scored in the semi-final and final. But he didn't do anything else in the group. So it's skewed all the time. And I'm saying, we don't need to do that anymore. We can have the Tabani Awards. The Tepi, you get a trophy, Roy get it. We can all give our own
Everybody
awards
gets a trophy.
because that's what France Football did. So it's either we all do it or we stop doing it. I don't need the Ballon d'Or anymore.
Sure.
My hot take.
Nah, I like
Okay.
that take. I get what you're saying.
I understand where he's coming from. So the issue behind you not needing any more is because the form of criteria now is just so unclear now, and nobody knows.
It's-
Which you've basically proven by checking with with yourself and people next to you, who do you have for the Ballon d'Or, without even asking why Tepi, or if Leroy had to give a reason why Leroy. And there's high chances that if Leroy had to say just a Pedri, Salah, Mbappe, whoever, his form of reasoning would be different to mine, which it's what Ballon d'Or has now caused in
100%.
football. Well, France football has now caused in football. Ballon d'Or be scrapped, and I see the reason behind it.
And maybe scrapped is harsh. They must still give it. But as football fans, can we just accept that, guys, we don't need to have it as it's great. It's the perception of the Ballon d'Or needs to change and just come down a notch or fall. And we need to stop acting like this is not the same award that was given out 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. That is okay. It's okay for things to change. We don't have to do things because they've always been done.
Yeah.
We have to be open to change.
Changes, yes.
So
yeah.
yes, cool. Have the ceremony, give the player the award. But there's nothing wrong. Why don't we have Globe Soccer in the same esteem as Ballon d'Or? Because the Ballon d'Or is so much older than Globe Soccer. And you know all the politics behind Globe Soccer, but it's essentially they're not too dissimilar, right? There's a criteria, there's vested interests, there's politics, there's voting, changing criteria. Like whatever you use to diminish Globe Soccer, I could probably put together a strong case to diminish the Ballon d'Or.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, from that end, it's the uncertainty that is created. Like, I see it as a hot take. I do see it as a hot take. But, like, it's something, like you're saying, with change, it can be corrected. Like, Ballon d'Or, yes, to be removed off your pedestal, but can still be viewed highly. And for that to happen, we need consistency in the credibility form of award winners from just an eye test, well, viewing from our eyes. Like everyone knows, 2021, we feel Lewandowski should have won it over Messi. 2023, Haaland had a strong argument over Messi. Like you said, it's down to 7 games. Modric, 2018, down to 7 games. Okay, he has a Champions League as well. We all expected it to go to Vini Jr., 2024. It went to Rodri. But it's still labeled as the end-all, be-all as in football awards, which needs some change, eh? Needs some change.
Can I ask a question? What's the criteria that you know to win FIFA the best?
I don't know it.
But
like, I have a subjective view.
My
subjective view for FIFA best is the same as my subjective view for Ballon d'Or.
Okay.
Which I just look at it as, so with the question you've asked, what is your view on winning the best footballer? Basically, whatever the governing body, just for you to be crowned as the best footballer.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of do have it, but it's not like I would not know what is FIFA's one,
I think, yeah, but like obviously like very subjective, like to say again, like same thing for like Ballon and FIFA best. Obviously, I'm just gonna assume that you're the best footballer across most of the leagues and competitions you're playing in the year that's passed or the season that's passed.
Yes.
So you qualify, like let's say, you top goal scorer in league, Champions League, and then you guys win or come second in your domestic cup, so you have a strong case. Or you're the best midfielder in all those competitions.
100%.
Or best defender. So you just show your quality. Like, and another thing that Tab said, like, we've never really spoken about like France football. Like, why does Emiliano Martinez get the
best goalkeeper?
Yeah, best goalkeeper.
For how many years now? Have you ever thought he's the best goalkeeper in the world?
Yeah.
In your life?
It's always flown over
no
my
one's
head.
No one's favorite best goalkeeper has ever been Emi Martinez. I don't even think Emi Martinez probably rates some goalkeepers ahead of him in the last 5 years. And yet somehow look at his trophy cabinet. And again, okay, cool. He won Copa America. He won thing. Even now, he just won it. We were all excited. Ronwen got nominated. We were all tuned in. how deflating was it? Not even from a Ronaldo perspective. You're like, that's the guy. That's the best goalkeeper in the world. Really?
Yeah.
And like, that's what I'm saying. So is it, and okay, cool. Your team can do really well and not win. Another team can do worse than you. Emi Martinez can go to Argentina and win a Copa America. Now he's a better goalkeeper than you. The logic itself is contradictory. It's always flawed. And the reason I asked you about the best is the criteria. Does it make sense then for the winner of the best to not be the winner of the Ballon d'Or?
No.
That's what I'm saying to you. So these things, we're now contradicting ourselves. We're having multiple awards. This person's doing this. This is criteria. Like, set a criteria, be open and honest about it, or just stop doing the thing. Because if you're going to move the goalposts all the time, you're not helping football anymore.
So in one way, with setting up the criteria, we wish to be able to find a way of unifying everything into one. Like during the Ronaldo, Messi
yes, when
era,
it was one award, yeah.
Ballon d'Or was a FIFA
Ballon d'Or,
award. Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see those days, But
and my hottest take is I don't think we need those days again. We can see with our eyes.
Sure.
All right.
We're fine with it.
Yeah, that's cool.
The Ballon d'Or can
Everyone
be taken
debates
away.
who's the best. Yeah, I like that.
Like even like with me saying Rafinha, like what's the point behind Rafinha? Like there's so much to it, and someone can state what's his or her point behind Salah, what's his or her point behind Vinny, Mbappe, whoever it is. My ballers, we've had our hot takes, we've shared our emotions. Our word has been set. Leroy has shared his view, Tabs has shared his view, I've shared my view, which was supported by the team I lost to. But that's where we end this match day. Continue to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks again to my fellow guests, my fellow ballers. Make sure to also check out YouTube channel named D&D Debates Never Die, where I will post the link on all my socials. And until next time, my ballers, live long.
I'm never gonna ride Messi, but like guys, the man can only do so much.